Hi, Girly Pop Society. Today we sat down with Dr. Shanna. She shares her two birth stories, a birth center birth and a home birth. And we also hear a little bit about her being a chiropractor here in our community. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We believe a birth story doesn't begin with labor, it begins with her.
Welcome to Girly Pop Birth Talks, where we go beyond the delivery room. Each week, we interview a woman just like you and unlike you about her pregnancy, her birth, and also her becoming, and what led her to the most transformative experience of her life.
So grab a drink, a snack, and cozy up, because around here we go from laughing 1 minute to crying the next.
As we listen to the stories that shape us.
Because birth isn't just about babies, it's about the women who rise in the process. Welcome, Dr. Shanna, to Girly Pop Birth Talks.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so excited to have you.
Me too.
So share a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm Dr. Shanna Saenz. I'm a chiropractor. I specialize in pediatric, prenatal, and like family health. I see a lot of families. I'm a mom of 2 girls, and I love it. And I have a wonderful husband named Jesse. He's also a chiropractor.
Oh, I didn't
And
know that.
yeah. And I come from a long line of chiropractors. So,
Oh,
well,
wow.
my dad's a chiropractor, my brother's a chiropractor, my mother-in-law's a chiropractor.
Oh my
Wow.
My
gosh.
brother-in-law's a chiropractor. Yeah, and there's me and Jess. So,
Wow.
if one of my kids isn't a chiropractor, then I failed in life.
Yeah.
Well, at least one. I'm okay if you don't want to, but at least one has
Yeah.
to be one. So,
Is there more in the picture?
no, it's all of us. My mom wanted
No,
to
I
be.
mean like more
Oh,
babies. Like, is it just one of the two?
well, I mean, we'll have another one eventually.
Okay,
but
so
yeah.
the odds are higher.
The odds are higher that at least one.
Yeah.
Catalina's like definitely on par for going into the health field because she likes to treat her patients. So
Oh, yes.
yes, she's
I
all
love
about
that.
it.
That's so
So
cute.
yes,
And where do you work?
I work at Lighthouse Wellness Center.
Amazing.
Yes, and I also see patients in my Arden location where my mother-in-law started that practice about
Okay.
40 years ago.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, so
And
that's where
what's
my
that
husband
called?
is. It's called Epic Chiropractic.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's where
learning all these new things.
I know. Yeah. I'm only there Wednesday mornings and Friday afternoons, but mostly I just see patients that like I've seen for a long time and like didn't want to
Mhm.
get like not see anymore. And I don't know, I'm sure you guys get this, but there's that like the divide between like Sacramento and Roseville
Oh,
and
for
like,
sure.
no one wants to come down the
No
hill to
one. Yeah.
Sacramento. So yeah. So it's nice to have like that 2 different populations and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, and I do a lot of like sports therapy stuff at that clinic because we have a bunch of technologies and stuff. That's what my husband does. He's like sports chiropractic. He works in professional soccer, so he is all about like sports and injuries and everything like that. So we practice very differently.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
very different. Yeah, so it's good.
How did you get into chiropractic?
Well, my dad's a chiropractor.
Okay, so you
So
grew up with that?
yes, I grew up in my dad's office. I like remember when I could first start talking, I would answer the phone for him and I'd say, "Buller Chiropractic, how can I help you?" And
Oh my
then
gosh.
I wouldn't know how to answer it, so I'd be like, "Please hold." And then the summer that I was 13, I worked there like all summer as a front desk associate for my dad, and I just like saw the amazing things that chiropractic is. Like specifically, I have this vision in my head of one of my dad's patients who was in so much pain. He was like super grumpy, and I was like, "Dad, he's so mean. Like, why is he so grumpy all the time?" And he's like, "Well, he's in pain. Like, we're trying to help him." And then I remember I came back after like during Christmas one year, and I saw the same guy, and he was like dancing into the office, and he was like a
Aw.
completely different person. And I was like, "Okay, it's pretty legit. I need to do this with my life." So
Wow.
Mhm.
yeah, so it's
That's
really
so
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, I love it. Chiropractic is very rewarding, and it's cool to like
Mhm.
especially be on like the side that I'm in now with like moms and babies and families to like kind of hold hands through that whole experience and get to see the babies grow up. It's like really cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
love it.
how'd you get into that specialty?
I when I first graduated from chiropractic school, I wanted to work with moms. I wanted to work in women's health, and I really like loved pelvic floor health and stuff like that. And then I think that just kind of evolved into like working with babies, especially when I had Catalina. She had tongue ties and everything. So I saw Shawnee, and then Shawnee and I got really close, and it just kind of exploded into like working with babies more than, I mean, I feel like it's probably even, but I see a lot of babies in my
Mhm.
clinic, which is awesome. I love it.
Mhm.
It's really cool. So I did a lot of like postdoctoral stuff like classes, and I'm working like I have classes through the ICPA, which is like the pediatric diplomate. I'm working towards getting my pediatric certification with that. I was on track, and then I got pregnant, and
Yeah.
then it slowed
That's
down
how
a
it
lot.
goes.
So
Silly little things.
yeah, so I have like all the online portions to do, and then I have to take my exam. But But yeah, so that's what made me kind of get into that side of it. I initially wanted to go into sports chiropractic and not even like have anything
Mm-hmm.
with families and stuff. I wanted to do the complete opposite of what my dad does because, of course, what do? We do the opposite.
Yeah.
Um, but that's actually how I met my husband because I met him when I interned with. Technically, he was like my supervisor, but
Oh,
Oh,
scandal.
the
yes,
boss.
yes. But I worked with the Czech Republic, so I realized then that sports probably wasn't like what I wanted to do. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit too I don't know. It's rewarding, it's super cool, but it just wasn't like fulfilling me.
Mm-hmm.
So as I went through school, I was like, wait, I think this is actually what I want, like working with moms and babies and so yeah, that's kind of what pushed me into that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
In your childhood, did you have like that motherhood itch?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think my mom had home births. She had a hospital birth and then two home births. So I always knew that like I wanted kids and I wanted them naturally and
Were
stuff.
you born at home? Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
I was born at
wow.
home. But yeah, but I was always the mother hen of my group. I've always been the mom.
yes.
So I was like, we probably shouldn't do that, guys. And they're like, shut up, Shanna, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was always me. But as I went into chiropractic school, I was kind of like nervous about becoming a mom because I was spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars and my time. And I was like, how am I gonna, do everything? So I think it ebbs and flows. I always knew that I wanted to be a mom,
Mm-hmm.
but different times, different seasons and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Did your mom having home births like influence your perception of birth
yeah,
and where to give birth?
absolutely. I mean, growing up in a chiropractic family, like we're
Yeah.
very holistic. Like I don't think I've ever been to the doctor like for anything. My dad's friends with like all the orthopedic people, you know what I mean? So like if I broke a bone, I'd x-ray it at my dad's office and then like
Mm.
go see them or but my mom so I have two older brothers, and my mom with my oldest brother, it was her first kid. My dad was like young in chiropractic. They had a hospital birth, and she ended up in an emergency C-section. And then she was really allergic to some medication, and the nurse didn't chart it in her chart. So then the day nurse came and gave her the same dose, and
Oh
she almost
no.
died.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, so she was like, I'm never going in the hospital again.
Mm-mm.
And then that's when she met my midwife, who was also my brother's midwife, and
So she had a home birth, a VBAC at home in
yeah,
the 90s.
yeah,
It's pretty like,
in the 90s, yeah,
wow.
yeah. So I always like my mom, every night before my birthday, mom's like, yeah, well, I was walking around, it was a blizzard, and she's like, I was walking around in my fur coat in our neighborhood and like trying to get you out.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, so I've always had like a really positive view of birth, besides like being in the hospital, which I think is why I didn't go to the hospital
Yeah.
because I was personally scared of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom has always like had really cool experiences with birth, and
Mm-hmm.
that definitely made me know that I wanted a natural birth going
Mm-hmm.
forward.
Yeah.
So
Were you
yeah,
not born here? That sounds like somewhere else.
I was born in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm from Michigan
Okay.
originally.
Did you move here for chiropractic school or?
Yeah, so I went to Michigan State, and
Mhm.
then when I did my internship with the Czech Republic, I came here for the
Mm,
summer,
mhm.
and then I met my husband, and we fell in love,
He
and
dropped
so
you.
yeah, and then Sacramento was calling my name,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
we did a year-long distance. I was in at Michigan State for my senior year of college, and then I moved to Sacramento for the summer, and then I lived in San Jose for 4 years for
Oh,
chiropractic school.
okay.
So we were like long distance for about 5 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long
Oh
time.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
When did you guys get engaged? Like how many years in?
So we met in 2016 and we got engaged in 2019, but didn't get married until
And
2021.
you were still I'm think I'm doing the math right. You were still long term or long distance, I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
He knew that like we wanted to get engaged, but we didn't really want to get married until I was going to be home.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because we talked about it and then COVID hit and then it was just like, well, we might as well just wait.
Yeah.
So we got engaged in July of 2019 and then got married in May of 2021. So
And if I'm doing
Wow.
the math right, you got pregnant then.
yeah, we got pregnant in January, February of 2022.
Okay.
So
So like right. And
we
when did
were
you get married in 21? I missed that.
in May.
Oh, in May.
Yeah. So we
Okay.
were married for like 8 months, I
Yeah.
think it was. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
fun.
It was a surprise.
And where was he born? Was he also
He's born and raised in Sacramento.
no like home birth hospital?
Oh, I think he was born in the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was born in the
But
hospital.
he was all game with like an out of hospital birth.
He was a little bit nervous about it.
Okay.
But like he trusts me and he
Mhm.
knew that like what my choice was, like he would go along with it. I think that was part of the reason why I went birth center first and not just full home birth is because I felt like it would be an easier transition for us. I wasn't scared of home birth, but I just didn't know what to expect about birth. So I
Mhm.
was like, I'd like to just be in a space where, like,
It's a nice middle ground.
yeah. And
Mhm.
also, like, I think in my head, I was like, my house is always messy. So, like, if I'm in labor and I see a mess around me, like, it's not going to be nice. So I was like, let's travel, let's go to the
Mhm.
birth center.
Yeah.
And when we toured it, he was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I don't know if you know, or I'm sure you know this, but there's that prayer on the wall.
Mhm.
And he was like, okay, this is where we're meant to be, because he was like, this is cool.
Mhm.
This is a cool
And this is
space.
before you're at Lighthouse, or you were at Lighthouse?
No, I was at Epic,
Uh-huh.
and we got pregnant, and then I went to the birth center, and when I was there, Joanna was like, "Hey, like, Dr. Trish, who owns the clinic, is moving, and she's looking for someone to take over her practice." And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
"No way!" And so I reached out to her, and it was like a perfect fit. And
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, it was like 100% a God thing,
Mhm.
because like, we weren't planning on being pregnant, and then,
Mm.
like, also just find, like, there was at that point there was quite a few birth centers open, but that was just the one that I, like, kind of jived with the most.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it was the perfect timing, because Trish was still there for a few months, and then I was able to, like, meet all the patients and kind of ease into everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was
I had no
definitely a
idea how
godsend.
that unfolded, but it
Yeah.
sounds like
Yeah.
all meant to be.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
definitely was. And she was so awesome too about it. She was like, "So you're gonna have the baby. I'm gonna come back from South Dakota for like 5 weeks off and on. I'll do your maternity leave, and then you can come back at like 5, 6 weeks." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good."
Yes, sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So it was awesome. It was like, really, it was great. So it's
And those
definitely
that
awesome.
don't know that are listening,
Yes.
the same owners that own Lighthouse Wellness
Hmm.
Center own the California Birth Center.
Yes. Yes.
And then you just popped in.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
so cool.
It was, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely a believer that everything, like, turns out the way it's supposed to
Mhm.
be, and, like, God definitely had his hand in all of that,
Yeah.
and that's, like, the timing was perfect. So it was really great.
Yeah.
I was happy. So
Yeah, so
yeah.
tell us about finding out you're pregnant. I love surprise babies.
Yeah, yeah. So, it was one of those things where, like, we knew that it was could happen, but
Yeah.
we didn't really have a plan. And I I remember, like, my boobs were so sore, and I was like, "I have cancer." I was like, "This is it. I have
Oh.
cancer." Like, they were so sore,
That's
and
such a girl thing, like, not the logical
no, like,
conclusion.
there's no possible way I could be pregnant. And so, I was home for lunch. It was a Friday, and my husband had patients earlier than I did, and I was like, "Well, I have a pregnancy test. I'm just gonna take it." And I
Home
took,
alone.
yeah, home alone, and I think it was like February 4th or something. I don't know why that date is like engraved in my mind, and it came out, and I was pregnant, and I just remember I stared at it, and I, like, just dropped the F bomb, and I was like, "Oh, okay," and I was, like, shaking. I had no idea what to do.
Mhm.
So I called my brother, my oldest brother, and I was like, he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I remember FaceTiming him. I was like, I just held the pregnancy test up in front of my face, and he was like, "Oh, is this a good thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a great thing, but, like, I'm scared." And he was like, "Oh, it's gonna be fine." And then I ran to the grocery store. I bought a card that said, like, I think I remember it said, like, sometimes in life you'll get a card where, like, it's the greatest thing you'll ever get, and then it says, like, on the backside, it's like, "This is not that card," but then I crossed it off and I wrote, like, "This is that card."
Oh.
And so I put it in an envelope, and I got another pregnancy test, and I took it just to make sure that I was pregnant. And when we got home from work that night, I had my husband come in the room, and I thought I pressed record on my video, but
Oh,
I didn't. So
no.
I'm devastated, because it was a really cool moment. And yeah, so he opened it and he started crying, and he was like, "I'm gonna be a dad." Oh,
Aw.
yeah. Mhm.
I'm stuck on the brother thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your family dynamics. I don't know,
Yeah.
I would
I
not
would
have
have
FaceTimed my
called,
brother.
yeah, my
Well,
friend, my
Yeah,
husband, my
yeah.
mom.
my family and I are really close. I didn't want to tell my mom or my dad, because I wanted it to be a surprise.
Mhm.
My brother, he's my oldest brother. He's like the one that everyone tells everything to, because he's
Aw.
a vault. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Did he
So
have kids already of his own?
he doesn't have any kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's not married, but he is just the person that, like, holds it all together in the family. He's very analytical, type A. Like, he can be emotional, but, like, not really. He's, like, very matter of fact. So,
Mhm.
um when anyone has anything in their life that, like, we need to tell someone, everyone tells him stuff, and he's like,
Aw.
and then at the end, when everyone finds out that everything's out in the open, we look at Jeffrey and we're like, "Did you know?" And he's like, "Yeah, I
Of
knew."
course, he knows I
Yeah.
know everything.
My mom gets so mad. She's like, "Why does everyone tell Jeffrey everything?" And we're like, "'Cause he's calm and he's, like, collected."
So he's earned that position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
earned that first call.
He's 8 years older than me, so he's like the big brother, and yeah, he's like one of my best friends. So.
Well, that's a
I
first.
love
Yeah.
That's
that.
really
Yeah,
sweet.
I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that,
Yeah.
but I love that.
Yeah, no, we're really close. It's sad. I would love to be in Michigan with my family because they're all there, but my husband, I don't think would ever leave California. So
It
is
is
what
hard
Yeah.
when you love California. It's hard to
Yeah.
think about leaving.
Yeah.
Is his family like a supportive
Yeah.
family system?
Yeah. We have it's a good dynamic. I'm really close with my in-laws, like my mother and father-in-law. They live right next door to us.
Oh, that's
So they
fun.
watch the kids a lot, which is super helpful.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law is like one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. She's so freaking smart. She like wrote the book on orthopedics and chiropractic. She was on the board of chiropractic examiners. And she was also an expert witness for like chiropractors who have any legal troubles. Like she'll come in, and she was like a character witness for people and like an
Wow.
expert witness. So yeah, she's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Queen.
Yeah, she
Seriously.
literally is. Anytime I have a question about anything, I ask her, and she's like, "Oh, well, did you do this?" And I'm like, "I've never even heard of that."
Oh my gosh, what a
Yeah.
nice resource to have.
Oh, yeah,
I
she's
feel like it would be
brilliant.
almost intimidating to be a daughter-in-law in the same position or like
Yeah.
same career path.
Yeah. She actually fired me when I met my husband.
Wait,
This is
what?
a really funny story.
Oh my gosh, you were holding out.
Yes. So when I came and did my internship, I worked. So basically, the reason why I got my internship with the Republic was because my middle brother's best friend, his name is Dave. He was the athletic trainer for the Academy of the Sacramento Republic. And he had been an athletic trainer major at Michigan State. And so when I wanted to work in sports, my brother, which probably kicks himself to this day because he pushed me out here,
Yeah.
he was like, "You should really reach out to Dave and see how he got his internships and everything." And I was like, "Okay, I will." And so I reached out to Dave, and he's like, "Well, my roommate is actually the head chiropractor and the like sports science guy for the Sac Republic. So why don't I see if you guys can get an internship together, and then you can come here for the summer?" And so I was like, "Okay, cool." But because of that, like I wasn't actually an intern like with the Sac Republic. I was technically like Jesse's intern, and then Dave ended up doing all of like the grunt work for me, but under like I had to be like under a doctor. And so I worked at the office too, and there were some front desk staff that I mean, girls are smart. Like my husband and I were definitely hitting it off like within like a week or two of me being out here, and they could pick up on that, and so they just like didn't like me very much. So
Aw.
my mother-in-law was like, "This is why I don't hire girls. They're drama,"
Oh my
and like
gosh.
so she pulled me into her office one day after like a whole thing that happened, and it wasn't my fault. Just so you know, I was good.
Now I have her last name.
And she was like, "Listen, I didn't want you here in the first place. Like, I don't want you to be here." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I was like, "Well, I just want you to know, like, I'm really sorry for causing any like disruptions in the
Oh,
workplace."
I would never
And
recover.
yeah, I was like crying, and
Yeah.
but I left, and then my husband came in and talked to her afterwards, and she was like, "That girl's got guts." And then she liked me ever since then because I like came in and apologized, and like I was like, "I just swear I didn't do anything, but like I'm sorry if I caused anything." And she's like, "Yeah, that girl's got guts. I like her." And then yeah, flash forward, she's like, "We're
Do
really
those
close."
other girls still work for her?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, not anymore. Yeah, it was,
Wow.
I like how you're like, not
Wow.
anymore.
yeah, I know it was drama. It was not a fun time, but it definitely like solidified our relationship
Yeah.
because she's just a tough girl, tough
Yeah.
woman. So when I like came in and like helped, like I don't know, just like honored that and stuff, she was pretty cool about it. So
That's awesome.
yeah, now like she can't get rid of me. So
No.
Yeah.
we're like really good
Joke's
friends.
on her.
I know. When my husband would go out of town for soccer, I would go over to their house because my Catalina would like hang out with them, my oldest, and she'd be like, "Yeah, you don't really like being alone, do you?" And I was like, "Well, no, I just love you. Like I want to be with you." And she's like, "Okay, that's fair." But she's like a hermit. Like she doesn't like to talk to anyone. She just like does all the billing for the office, and she likes her space. She likes her personal space. So,
Yeah.
yeah, very different.
Yeah. Wow.
I love it.
I know. I love all
Yeah.
that history.
Yeah, there's a lot of history.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before we get into Catalina's birth,
Yes.
I'm thirsty.
Yeah, I got a little thirsty too.
Mhm.
I have dry
Just
mouth.
talking about girl drama. I'm
Girl
got
drama. I
thirsty.
know. Drama.
Oh, we need some tea for the tea.
The tea for the tea. Oh, thank you.
So this is a lazy mocktail, meaning it came in a can.
Nice.
This
okay.
is the brand Recess.
Okay.
Yum.
Nice.
And they came out with like fake cocktails.
Yeah. Okay.
So they have a margarita,
Nice.
a mule, a paloma, and this is the Cosmo.
This is good. I like it. I'm a fan.
That is good.
Very hydrating.
Yeah. I can see how that tastes like a Cosmo.
Mm-hmm. I taste the
It's a
cranberry in
stretch.
it.
No, actually there's another, like, I've tried a lot of fake Cosmos, like the Spindrift Cosno.
Mm,
Don't do that.
not good.
Remember that
Mhm.
one? That's like a sparkling water.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Mingle. No, that tasted like simple syrup.
Mhm.
So I would say this is probably
No, it's good.
my fake,
Mocktail.
It's
my
refreshing.
favorite fake.
She's okay.
No, I'm not.
No,
No.
she doesn't sleep
Well.
yet.
Oh my God.
No, I
Yeah.
still got a baby at home, so
That's beautiful and rough at the same time. I get it. I don't
amen.
sleep either. So.
No, still.
No, none of my kids ever sleep, so it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine.
I'm finding that to be more and more normal as I
Yeah.
get a little more plugged into like the crunchy
Yeah.
community, which I don't like it here.
I know.
Yeah,
You know,
Where's my kids?
we're all
sleeping
like
through the
not
night?
sleeping and,
Yeah.
and breastfeeding for forever, which I love, but also hate.
Yeah, fair. I'm with you. I'm with you.
But I'm like, people ask me now, when can I, because I will say just a little background and then I promise we'll go back to you. But
No, it's okay.
so I have to explain myself. With my girls, they just easily slept through the night pretty soon. But I also
Really?
had like rougher journeys with them breastfeeding.
Okay.
So I think that had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm having my best breastfeeding journey, but I'm realizing a lot of things that I
Yeah.
didn't know before.
Yeah.
So now people ask me, like, when can I drop night feeds? And I'm like, if you want your supply, never.
Yeah.
And
No.
I'm so sorry to tell you that.
Yeah.
But it like that
I
just
know.
didn't apply to me last time for whatever reason. And so
Fair.
that's why I don't like it here. Like, okay, you can either breastfeed
You want the best of both
or
worlds.
sleep.
Yeah, pick
It's
one.
a
Can't do
learning
both.
curve. I feel like, and also
Mhm.
it's like what you want in your journey as well. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's a hard thing to like navigate
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys checked out the birth center and you're like,
Yes.
this is the place. And I also just got my dream job.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
so wild. So how fast was that? So you started it in your pregnancy?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I was.
That's a total God thing
Oh yeah.
for both parties.
I know. Well, because no
You
one
just
like switches.
appeared.
I know. Yeah. I literally. I
Well,
know.
in Trisha's episode, she says like the same thing, but from her perspective, she was
Yeah.
like, we wanted to move. We felt called to move.
Yeah.
But I needed to find somebody to take over.
Yeah.
And she didn't name drop you, but she was like,
Yeah.
we found the perfect. I'm like, I wonder
Thanks,
if that was
guys.
Shanna. Yeah.
Just kidding.
It was me.
No. Yeah. It was perfect, and like we got along really well. I think that no one doesn't get along with Trish, though. To be fair, she's
Mhm.
just like this beautiful entity and soul.
Yeah.
And
Well, those are big shoes that you filled.
yeah, it was
Huge.
really hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It was, and it took me like probably a year to like get comfortable because again, I was gone for 6 weeks. So like,
Yeah.
and then she was back. So it was like this kind of like, I don't know. Everyone was like, "Oh, she's here. Oh, she's not here. Oh,
Yeah.
she's here." You know what I mean? And then they would always ask me when she was coming back and stuff. But I would say
wait.
like, yeah, well,
In
because
a
she came back
voice.
and treated all the time.
So wait, they were like, when is she coming back? I don't want you.
No. It was a big transition.
Yeah.
And I had to like find that I'm not her to like
Mhm.
become me, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. And like I was like, I was in practice for 2 years at the time, so I was still like new into who
Yeah.
I was as a chiropractor. And obviously she's like a mad adjuster, like she's hella good at adjusting.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was really hard. It was really hard. I had a lot of days where I was like, is this really what I want? Like,
Mhm.
but I found my people that like stuck with me, and then I built my own practice, which was like awesome too.
Yeah,
And
you
it
did it.
was great to have like her, because I was plugged in at the birth center and I was meeting all these people. And so eventually like I was able to kind of find my own footing and like become
Mhm.
myself, which was a really good feeling.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You need that to like be okay in life.
yeah,
Mhm. You
totally.
You can't live and not belong.
Yeah, no, it was true. Like, yeah, and she's just such like I said, a beautiful soul, like godly woman, and people just like gravitate towards her.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, why are people like? Some people gravitated obviously towards me, but like it's just different. I had to like, tell myself like probably once a week. I was like, I'm not Trish. I'm
Mhm.
never gonna be Trish, but like I can take things from her
Yeah.
and like morph into who I need to be and
Mhm.
stuff. So, I definitely wouldn't be the chiropractor or the woman I am without her. So.
That's
Mhm.
probably like your biggest, and I don't want to project and label, but like
Yeah.
your biggest transformational year, like
Yeah. Oh
taking
God.
on that job
Huge.
position, navigating your first pregnancy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
surprise pregnancy.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It was huge. I feel like I'm still in transformational years.
Yeah.
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 I feel like I haven't really sat down. I'm like I'm ready for some calm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
yeah. But yeah. So I started. I think in Lighthouse like May 1st was my first day or whatever that first Monday of May would be, and
What
then
was your due date?
October 10th or 11th.
So he has
Okay.
a
Yeah.
little bit of time.
Yeah. And Trish, basically for two or 3 months, I just like was walking into the rooms with her and meeting everyone. That's what she wanted. And then I think in like June, I started taking on a couple patients, but I didn't really start like treating at Lighthouse like fully until like middle of July when she left.
Oh,
Which was
okay.
yeah, because she just wanted me to meet everyone and
Yeah.
like have a slow like transition and everything. So it was actually really nice because I was like pregnant and she's so like the office is really busy. So
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't used to that yet because I was like seeing one person every 30 minutes and then I
Mm-hmm.
went to seeing a lot more people than
Yeah.
that in
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a good transition. And then
Yeah.
I remember being very exhausted the first week that I was seeing her full
Yeah, I
patient
bet.
run. Because I was like 25, 26 weeks maybe more pregnant than that. I can't remember. But I was like definitely in the almost in the third trimester, end of second. So I
Yeah.
was tired.
Wow.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, tell us about going into labor.
Yeah. So I was 37 weeks and 5 or 6 days. I had like really horrible low back pain at the end of my pregnancy. I could barely walk. I could barely like stand on one side to put my underwear on when I was getting dressed. And we did stuff around the house and we were getting the house clean. And then on Sunday, I remember taking a shower after like getting things like ready in the nursery. And then we went to the grocery store and I was walking around Raley's and I was looking at my husband and I was like, honey, it's so weird. My low back doesn't hurt at all anymore. And literally like 30 seconds later, I felt this like gush and my water broke.
Oh my
So
gosh. So your baby had like moved down
yeah,
or
I don't
or like
know.
changed position? I don't know.
Must have. I was doing a lot that weekend and like also I worked on Friday. Like I think I saw like 25 people on Friday morning. So like I just was my body was not used to that.
Mm-mm.
Thankfully I didn't like gush all over the floor. It just got
Mm-hmm.
my entire like pants soaking wet and I remember like being like really uncomfortable. I was like walking around Rayleigh's and I got into the car or was walking to the car and I was like, "Honey, are my pants wet?" And he was like, "Yeah, they're soaked. What happened?" And I was like, "I think my water just broke." And so I called the on-call midwives and they were like, "Okay, well, is like labor starting?" I think it was Maya that answered the phone at the birth center. And I was like, "I don't know. I don't have any cramping, no contractions starting." And she's like, "Okay, well, just rest and we'll have you come in the morning if nothing has like happened or started and we'll do an amniotic fluid." Actually, back up, sorry. I had an amniotic fluid swab at my house because I thought my water had broken that Tuesday,
Okay.
but it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so they sent me home with one. And so I took it and I was like, "Yeah, it turned blue. Like, this is my water." And she's like, "Okay, we'll just rest and we'll have you come in for a fetal non-stress test in the morning." And yeah, I went into the birth center on Monday and I still hadn't started any contractions. And
And
did
this is 37 and 6.
37 and 6. My water broke 37 and 5, which was Sunday.
Okay.
So Monday, 37 and 6. I went to the birth center. Stress test was good. I went home and I was just resting. And they're like, "Well, we have time," because I was what strep negative?
GBS
Yeah, yeah, it
negative.
was negative. So they were like, "You have 72 hours." And so I was like, "Okay, cool." And went home and I was trying to do all the things to start labor. Nothing was happening. So I went in for another non-stress test on Tuesday. My mom had flown in on Monday, and everything was good in the non-stress test. And then I th- I can't remember who the midwife was at the time during the day that day, but I think it was Elise, I think. And so she was like, "Well, you can start castor oil." And I was like, "Okay." My mom took castor oil with both me and my brother. So
Okay.
in my mind, I was like, maybe I just like can't go into labor without it because she couldn't go into labor without it.
Mm.
So we did like orange juice concentrate in castor oil and mixed it in a drink, and then I chased it down with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Um,
That's an interesting way. You're still hitting on
yes,
all those ingredients,
yeah.
but
That's how her midwife told her
I
to
like
do it.
that.
So
Mhm.
that's
Was
what I
your
did.
mom in town or
Yeah,
she came into town for
yeah.
this?
My
Okay.
mom was there on. She flew in on Monday, so I called her Sunday, and she flew out the
Okay.
next morning. And she's in Michigan, so yeah, so I took like a first dose at like 141 and I was like really scared to do it. So I took like a quarter of what I was supposed to and nothing was happening. And so then I took the second dose and then I took a really long nap because I was stressed. And then
Mhm.
nothing was happening again. So I took like the final dose because they say to do it in 2 doses, I think, but I did it
Mm.
in 3. And I remember like walking around in my backyard doing curb walking, like blasting Stevie Nicks because I was just like getting into like my like bad girl,
Yeah,
let's do
I can
this.
do
Yeah.
this.
Um,
I
and
love that Stevie Nicks
I
is your bad girl.
no, I know. I freaking love Stevie Nicks.
I do too.
And yeah, so then we ordered pizza. It was like 8 o'clock, and I started feeling like some cramping and stuff. And I was like, "This is it. This can't be it." And I was like, "This isn't it." And then
This is
11.
Tuesday night,
This is
sorry.
Tuesday night.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, maybe it is. So I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. This is probably like 8 or 9 o'clock. And so I laid down in bed and I was feeling a little bit more cramping. And I was like, okay, I think this is maybe it. But like when you're in early labor, you're like, I don't know, this can't be it. This
Mhm.
isn't hard enough. And so I got in the shower and my husband was like, I think this is it. Like, I think so. And so I called the birth center and it was Christy Solomon who answered the phone, which I had actually never met her before.
Mm.
And she was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Sounds like maybe things are moving along. Call me back in an hour and let me know what's going on." And in my head, I'm like, "Okay, like, aren't I supposed to like go in?" Like, I'd never had a kid before. So,
Yeah.
an hour passes and things are starting to get really intense. This is probably like 10:45, 11 at this point. So I called her back and I was like, "Hey, like my contractions are 2 minutes apart, lasting for like a minute, and they're really hard." And she's like, "You sound fine. You can still talk to me totally fine. Call me back when you can't talk to me in between contractions." And I was like, "Who is this woman? Like, what is happening?" And so I think like 30 minutes passed, and I was like, "Yeah, I can't talk between these." So then my husband called, and so she was like, "Okay, sounds like it's time to come in, but I'm actually not there, so I'm gonna have to call another midwife to come meet us there." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good." So she's like, "Let's meet at the birth center at like 2:45." It was like, oh no, it was like 1:45. She was like, "Let's like plan to leave at 1:45, meet at the birth center around like 2:15." And so we got into the car and I remember feeling like really sick and not great. And the birth center from me is like 25-minute drive. And we were trying to get on the highway and the highway was closed, the entrance ramp. And
Oh.
so I was like, oh my God, this is it. I'm having the baby in the car. This is it. And my mom was like in the back seat freaking out. And so my husband was like, pulled a quick audible, like went around the median and got on the other side. And we got there, I think it was like 2:15. They checked me. I was 5 centimeters dilated. And Elise and Christy were there because I found out later at the time that Christy had to take another mom to the hospital.
Mm.
And so she was there by the time I got there. And I was 5 centimeters dilated. I hopped in the shower and I got out. And I remember I was like laying on all fours on the bed and I didn't want to be touched by anyone. My husband was like sitting in a corner. I was like, "Don't touch me." And he was like, "Are you sure you don't want my help?" And I was like, "Yeah, don't touch me." But Elise came in and she like started massaging my shoulders and I just like melted into her touch, which if anyone has been at a birth with Elise, like you just know that her hands are magic. So um, she ended up leaving, and then let's see, yeah. So around like 4 o'clock, I started feeling like I had to push. So I was like fully dilated within like 2 hours,
Wow.
Wow.
and I was laboring, standing up for a while on the birth ball, and then I got on all fours on the bed, and I like vividly remember this, even though I was like lost in labor land. I remember Christy like because it's so funny. Like birth is just such a wild ride, and I had no idea what to expect. But Emma and Kylie and Christy were all just sitting like crisscross applesauce on the floor, like behind me as I'm laboring, and they're just like just watching, just immersed in birth. And I was dying. I was like dropping the F bomb every 5 seconds. Every time I contracted,
Mhm.
my mom was like, maybe you find something better to say. And I was like,
Nope.
don't
Nope.
look at me like
Yeah.
that. I was like, this is not hard. And
Fuck
like,
is working actually
I
perfectly.
know. Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is fine. I'm
Yeah.
fine. But the castor oil was what really intense. I did not like taking castor oil. Anyways,
Did
so
you have like the
yeah.
negative side effects of
I
it?
didn't throw up, but I was definitely on the toilet a lot. So
Mm.
like when I was contracting, I couldn't tell if like I had to run to the bathroom
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
or yeah, so it was like a really horrible. I did not enjoy that at all. So anyways, yeah, so I'm on the bed and my husband's like kind of in the corner over here, like I'm here. And I remember Christy like stands up really slowly. She goes over to Jesse and she's like, "All right, Jesse, it's time to meet your daughter."
Oh.
And And he was like, "Oh, really? Like, okay." He's like, like, not ready, you know? She was like, "Okay, so your wife is gonna have one more contraction. Your daughter's head is gonna pop out. It's gonna stay there for, like, for the pause and contractions. And then she's gonna have another contraction. Her shoulders are gonna rotate and she's gonna pop out and you're gonna grab her and you're gonna catch her." And he was like, "I don't know if I'm ready for this, you know? Like,
Aw.
this is crazy." And I just remember how calm she was when she said that to him.
Mhm.
And, like, in the midst of being just, like, in labor land, I just remember hearing her voice say that. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm close. Like, this is
Mhm.
happening." And, yeah, so my husband was the first person to catch
Mm.
Catalina. She was born at 4:51 in the morning,
Very
and
fast.
very fast. Total, like, from my first contraction, was, like, 8 hours. So,
It's amazing.
yeah, it was spicy. And,
Yeah.
yeah, he caught her, and then, I just remember looking at my mom and saying, "I'm never doing that again. That was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life." And she was like, "Just wait."
Yeah. Okay, honey.
Yeah, so, my
Uh,
mom was a champ. She was, like, fanning me the whole time
I
because
was gonna say, did you, like, do any prep for
yeah,
managing pain during labor and the contractions? Like, I'm sure your
no.
mom was a great help because she'd
Yeah.
been through it.
Honestly, I listened to so many positive birth stories
Mhm.
that I was like, "It sounds easy." So I was like, "I'm fine. I can do this." Like, my
You
mom
you
did
have to
it.
be
I'm
kind of
fine.
delusional.
No, I literally was, and yeah, it was, a lot harder than I expected it to be, and I don't know if that was just because of taking castor oil or,
Mhm.
like, if I mentally was not prepared for it, but, like, in between each contraction, I was just saying, like, "Let go, let God, let go, let God,"
Mm.
and, I think that did help me, like, surrender into it, and I think, like, I was just like, "Let me get this baby out as fast as I freaking can because I'm done." Yeah,
Mhm.
and I was up all night too,
Yeah.
um so yeah, that was really hard, and I was not prepared for how hard it was gonna be.
Mhm.
But after I got out of the shower, I was all like sweaty and clammy, but I was also like hot and sweaty.
Mhm.
So my mom, I think for like I don't know exactly how long it was, but they have that big fan at the birth center. There's a picture that I have of her just like fanning me like consistently, and I
Mhm.
was like, "Don't stop."
Yes. Her forearms after are, like,
Yeah,
bulging.
literally. Yeah. But then I ended up tearing. So after we had that time with Catalina on my chest and stuff, my mom got to snuggle Catalina, and then Chrissy sutured me up really good. And I was like in and out of sleep when she was suturing me. And then yeah, I think we were home by like 10 a.m. and it was great. It
Wow.
was really awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How was your postpartum?
Good. It was good. My mom was there. I'm so blessed. My mom was there for like 3, 4 weeks. And
Mm.
I remember just like laying in bed all the time and getting those snuggles with my newborn, and my mom was like painting a wall in my house because she can't sit still. So she was like, "I think I'm just gonna like take all this wallpaper down in here and just start like painting it." Because
Like a mural or just,
it,
like, a solid color?
so our house was born in the 50s, and
Was born. Okay.
yeah, it was
Cute.
built. Oh, did I say born? It was built.
Yes.
It's
It
fine. Our
was
house was
born.
born. It was erected in the
I love
50s.
that. So cute.
So
No, that's really cute. I'm gonna say that.
yeah,
Mine was born in the 80s.
mine was born. Yeah. So there were some really like quirky things that it had in it. The whole back hallway where my bedroom is like grass wallpaper.
Wow.
And some of the owners definitely had cats, so, like, they peed on that wall for sure. We got an amazing deal on the house. I say we, but my husband got it, like, way before I was in the picture.
It was we.
Yeah, it was we.
Own it.
It's a we, yeah. So it's pretty big, and it has, a nice big backyard and stuff, but it has, like, kind of funny things about it just
Mhm.
because he built it to, like, what he wanted. I'm not sure when that wallpaper was put up, but, I mean, within the from 1950s to
I love that
now.
you're, like, postpartum days and she's, like, ripping down wallpaper.
Oh,
She's like,
yeah.
"This gotta
It was
go."
great. I was like,
No,
"This is
when
awesome."
postpartum is when I usually, like, redo my entire house because 'cause
Yeah.
you're just stuck sitting there,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "I hate everything in here,
Yeah.
but I can't do anything about it," so I would
Yeah.
love that.
It was like a year and a half process of her taking down this
Wow,
wallpaper. It took
wow.
so long, and my mom is like the coolest person, and she's really handy. So she like replastered the walls
Wow.
and did yeah, like this was at my second postpartum.
Oh
She's like
my gosh.
replastering. No, I'm just kidding. I think it was before that. But yeah, so I was just in bed with Catalina, and she'd take breaks and hold her while like I showered and stuff.
Mhm.
My husband didn't get time off because like as a chiropractor, it's impossible to take that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, my mom was a huge help. And then I remember when she left, I was like, what do I do? And
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. So I only had like 2 more weeks home because she left it, I think, when she was 3 or 4 weeks old. And then I went back to work at 5 weeks postpartum. So
And then your mother-in-law had the baby?
no, and then I brought her to work with me.
Okay.
Yeah. So One of the awesome things that I was able to do in postpartum, and like going back to work was I was able to bring Catalina with me, and my awesome team members there, were able to help me. Like they kind of just held her and like wore her in a wrap because she slept most of the time, and it was a huge undertaking for them. I am very thankful for that because I was able to feed her when I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
So Catalina stayed with me at the office for like almost a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's how it should be in all
Mhm.
careers.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then I think I can't remember exactly when it was, but at some point like she was just getting too active, so then I hired Sam, who does all of our billing for the office. Her mom ended up coming to the office to watch
Oh,
Catalina for
nice.
like 6 months. Yeah, so that was a blessing. It was nice having her at the office with me.
Yeah.
Made the transition a lot easier.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 5 weeks is really early, especially for a first time mom.
Yeah, I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can't help it,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
or
still
if you
like
can help it.
bleeding. You're still
Yeah.
regulating everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still going to your postpartum appointments.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. I remember talking to Rachel and she was like, "How's your bleeding?" And I was like, "I'm still kind of bleeding."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, maybe you shouldn't go back to work yet." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, look footsteps that I'm following in." I think Trish went back to work at like 3 weeks postpartum or something crazy. I was like, "No, I have to go back to work." But thankfully when I was working, I had finally stopped bleeding.
Well, that's what diapers are for.
Yeah,
Put
exactly.
the diaper on.
I do remember the first side posture adjustment I did though. I saw stars because like I landed on my chest because it's
Ugh.
like how you
Yeah.
drop on people, and like my boobs hurt so bad. I was like, this is
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, what am
Oh,
I doing?
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow.
I only went back to work like 3 days a week at first. I
Okay,
think, or
that's good.
something.
A nice
Yeah.
transition.
Yeah. I didn't work Mondays, and then yeah, it was a transition for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start thinking about having another baby?
When Catalina turned a year.
Okay.
Yeah. I looked at my husband and we were like, okay, I think we're ready for another one. And we got pregnant when I was 14 months postpartum.
Okay.
It was very planned, but I realized quickly that it was a little bit early for maybe what I was ready for. But it's fine because now they're like 22 months apart and that's awesome and it's fantastic. I think it's one of those things where you're like, well, maybe it won't happen right away. So like we'll think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's hard to find the balance there.
Yeah. It did happen right away the first time.
And I think in all pregnancies, planned or not, there's that little bit in the beginning that's like
yeah.
the regret of like, oh,
Yeah. You're like,
oh, it's like in me.
Yeah. I'm like, was I ready for this? And of course, like Catalina's spicy as heck. So, and she was only at 14 months. Like you know their personality, but they're still like super cute, and they're like, "I love you, mom." And they're not talking, but
Yeah.
they're
But
all
you feel that. Yeah.
yeah. And then, yeah, I think what like she turned 17, 18 months, and she was just like really rambunctious and like starting to throw tantrums a lot, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is it. I'm very pregnant and I'm exhausted already.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was it. Being pregnant with a toddler is like a whole different life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was very tired.
Yeah. That's really hard.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we were excited, and
Yeah.
then we found out it was another girl, and my husband was like, "I knew God was gonna give me girls." So,
Aw.
he was like the eternal bachelor for a long time because I met him when he was 34. So, yeah, so he was like, I knew that God was gonna give me girls.
So cute.
Aw.
Yeah.
How did you decide to do home birth this time?
Yeah, I knew that I just knew that I was ready to take that plunge into having a birth at home. And the birth center had like just announced that they were gonna do one home birth a month at that point. So yeah, so the second, like literally I was like 3 weeks pregnant. Like I missed my period by like 2 days, and I like called them. I was like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant. I need
Put
that
me on
home
the
birth.
schedule,
Like,
yeah."
yeah, put me on the schedule." And they're like, "Okay, cool." And yeah, so I was due. I think my due date was like July 29th. And yeah, I just knew that I wanted to do a home birth. I had a great experience with the birth center. So like all of my appointments were still with the birth center. But Elise was kind of heading them. And then
Yeah.
I remember when I was during my pregnancy, Christy like snuck me into an appointment once. She was like, "I'm gonna be your midwife today." And I was like, "Okay, cool." She's like, "How are you?" And I was like, "I'm good." She's like, "I can't believe you're pregnant." I was like, "I know."
Me either.
Yeah, me neither. It's here. But yeah, I love Christy. Christy was an amazing midwife. So like you really I couldn't go wrong with anything. But yeah. And then yeah, my pregnancy was good. Like overall, like I was blessed to have pretty easy pregnancies. I was just exhausted, and I'm not like a very pleasant pregnant person. Like I definitely complain a lot. So in July, when I was like getting very close to having a baby, I was supposed to work up until I think I was working until like 39 weeks, and then I think I took off at 37. I was like, I
I
can't
was
work
gonna say with
anymore.
your history, like I know that doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily mean it's gonna happen again,
yeah.
but I'm surprised you weren't planning for like
Taking off
yeah.
earlier. I
Mhm.
was afraid to
Yeah.
take off earlier. And I honestly in my head I was like, I'm gonna say I'm seeing patients until 39 weeks, but like I was like, I'm definitely having this baby before then. So like whatever. So I'll just call out when I call out.
Yeah.
But yeah, around like 35, 36 weeks, I was just like, I was so tired. I was ungodly tired and I
Mm.
just couldn't do it anymore. So
Mhm.
I think it was like 37 weeks. I was like, this is my last week that I'm working.
Mhm.
And yeah, honestly, Catalina did me dirty by coming so early because I was like, this baby's coming earlier.
Yep.
I was like, this
Yeah.
is happening.
It is so hard. All
Yeah,
our clients that have babies and then have subsequent pregnancies after that delivery
yeah,
date, it's like a new territory.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
I
don't know
was
how to
miserable.
function.
I know.
Mhm. How
I,
much longer? I'm terrified for you.
only a week. It was only a
Okay.
week. She came at 39
7
and
long
1.
days,
Yeah. Oh, but they were
924 hours. No, I don't know how much.
I remember texting Elise and I was like, just gonna take castor oil. I'm done. I'm so done. And she's like,
Which says a lot because you
yeah,
hated that.
exactly. And she was like, "You can do whatever you want, but like just maybe wait a couple more days." And like Elise is
She's like, you're
very
literally not even due.
I know. I know. I was so annoying to her. I mean, she'd never ever admit that to me, but
No.
like I was like, "Elise, I'm just done. I'm so done." Because she was coming to my appointments and then she's like, "How you feeling?" I was like, "Done."
Yeah, I hate this.
Yeah.
Miserable.
And with Catalina, I was like expected to go to 40 weeks because I
Yeah.
tell every new mom like just expect to go late and then if she comes early, awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Just know
so
as birth workers, we don't judge. It
yeah,
is like well, I've never been 40 weeks pregnant or
yeah,
41 weeks pregnant, but,
yeah,
like, I've seen it happen so many times that, like,
yeah. It was y-
Nobody is doing
yeah,
okay.
you
no,
can't save anyone, you
no.
can't
Uh,
rescue them, you can't give them a break.
I know.
They're
Yeah,
literally you just have to be.
I know.
I feel like I remember telling you this at the end of my last pregnancy, like you kind of have to get to that point to get through what labor requires of you.
Oh,
Like
totally.
there was a point where I thought I was going into labor, but I wasn't like done being pregnant yet. And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, I don't think I'm actually mentally
ready for
capable
it.
of this yet. Like you have
Yeah,
to be like, I want this baby out.
yeah, absolutely. I was definitely at that point.
Yeah.
When I was pregnant with Catalina and I did like my 37-week like visualization,
Hmm.
Rachel was my midwife. She's like, you just need to be so uncomfortable being pregnant that you're like ready to have this
Yeah,
baby
exactly.
because it's transformational for you and for her. Like you're bringing a new soul into this world. Like you
Hmm.
have to be prepared. Um, and so that like got me. And so I thought about that with the second, but I never thought that I would be like an impatient pregnant person. I was like freaking out. I was like, get this baby out of me. But yeah, so it was a Sunday night and or on Sunday that day, I remember like seeing Elise. She brought me a different tub to birth in, and she was like, "How you doing?" I was like, "I don't know, something's changed. I think like she's coming really soon." And I was 39 weeks at that day on Sunday. And she was like, "Okay, well, we'll see." Like we'll see. And I was like, "Yeah." So that night at dinner, I had like a random contraction. It was like 8 o'clock, and in my head, like I was like, when I go into labor, I'm gonna have a baby really fast. Like it's just gonna happen super
Mm-hmm.
fast, because of how fast Catalina came out. And so I was like mentally prepared for that. Um, and so Jesse's filling up the tub, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna happen. And like my contractions were happening, but they were like really mild, and they were like every like 14 minutes. And so I was getting like really discouraged. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. So I went to bed, and I couldn't sleep because I was just so anxious. And I was also like soaking up those minutes with Catalina because she sleeps in between us. So I was just kind of like snuggling her a little bit. And I got up, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep moving because when I move, my contractions get a little bit more intense.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, at like 4 a.m., they stalled out completely.
Mm.
And I was devastated because I was like, okay, maybe this wasn't it. I had a lot of prodromal labor leading up to when Mercedes was actually born. So I was like, I guess this isn't it. And I went to bed, and I woke up at like 10, and I hadn't had a single contraction from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. And so I was like, I guess maybe this isn't the day. And I got up, and my mom was like, how are you feeling? I was like, I don't know, whatever. And she's like, well, let's go for a walk and just see if we can get things moving.
So she
And
flew back in for this.
oh yeah, sorry,
Okay,
my mom was here for it.
that's special.
She flew in early. She was actually like already at my house for like a week and a half by the time
Well,
that I
she
went into
probably
labor.
was also like, let me
Yeah,
just in
get there.
case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just in case. And I was like convinced I was gonna go early.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
so my mom was there, and she's like, "Let's go for a walk." And Catalina had gone to my in-laws' house because they live next door to us, and just needed some time to like chill. Jesse was at the office, and we went for a walk around the neighborhood, and I had like a really intense contraction. This was probably like 11:30 now in the morning, and it like bent me over, and I was like literally squatting in the neighborhood, like leaning on a water bottle and just having this contraction. And my mom actually took a picture of it. It's kind of funny. I look back on it, and I probably had like two more on the walk. It was like a 45-minute walk, and then we came home, and she made me some lunch, and I ate like one bite of it, and I was like, I can't eat this. And then at 12:59, I had a contraction that was like 2 minutes long that doubled me over my couch. I thought I was gonna vomit, and like I felt terrible. And so I texted Elise. I was kind of like letting her know what was going on through the morning. And she was like, just keep me updated. So I texted her and I was like, just so you know, I had a 2 minute long contraction, and like that was really intense, and I thought I was gonna throw up. And she was like, okay, like keep me updated. And so I was like, okay, I will. And then over the next half hour, I was like, texted her again. I was like, okay, I just had a contraction every 7, 6, 5, 4 minutes. Like every contraction I had, it was like going down in minutes.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm gonna hop in the shower. It was like 1:37, and I was like, I'm gonna hop in the shower. I'm just gonna labor there. And she's like, okay, I'll check back in, I don't know, an hour or something. And I was like, okay. So I got in the shower, and I was, in there for a bit, and it felt really good. And then I got out of the shower, and I just like collapsed on my bathroom floor, and I was like having really intense contractions. This is probably like 2 o'clock, 2:05 at this point.
Mm.
And Jessie was like, she had checked back in, and she's like, how's everything going? And Jessie was like, good. She's in the shower. Everything's good. Seems to be moving along. She's like, okay, I'll check back in like a half hour. And I looked at him after like 2 minutes of that conversation. I was like, you need to tell her to get here right now. I was like, things are happening. So he called her back, and she's like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm on my way. She was at the birth center. I think there's something else going on. And so she's like, I'm going to get there as fast as I can. I won't be there for 25 minutes. So, like, Jessie, get the tub filled. And like, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And so I managed to get a little bit of some clothes on, and I was laboring at the edge of my bed in a lunge position, and I was just like rocking back and forth. And my mom came into the room. She had taken my daughter back to my in-laws house, and I was like, I felt fine. It was like the middle of the day, so I was expecting to go into labor at night. And I remember like looking at my mom and being like, I don't think this is it. Like, I don't think I'm that close, And she's like, honey, you're really close. Like, I was like, very guttural, like yelling during my contractions. And I was like, I don't know. I remember Christy saying like I shouldn't be able to like talk or like know what's going on in between contractions when I was pregnant with Catalina. And she was like, I don't know, everything's different. Like, you're close. And I was like, no, I'm not. And so Jesse's like running around getting the tub filled. Elise calls, and she's like, I'm hitting every red light,
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I'm just like, no way, I'm not that close. I'm not that close. But like also scared that I wasn't close, because I was like, if I'm not, then like this is intense,
Yeah.
So at 2:53, Elise runs into the room, and she's like, how you doing? And I was like, I feel the need to push. Like, I'm almost ready to push. And she's like, okay, let me just listen to the heart tones. And so she listened, and then she was like, do you want me to check you? And I was like, do you need to check me? Like, do I need it? And she's like, I don't think so. I think you're ready. And I was like, I think I'm ready. And so I got into the tub, and Mercedes was born at 3:10. So
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So Elise got there at 2:53. Kylie walked in, I think, like a 5 minutes after that. And yeah, I pushed her out in like two, like not even two pushes, I feel like. She just flew out. And I was like,
Wow.
Wow.
I think I was actually like holding her in because I was afraid that Elise wasn't there yet. So when she finally came out, it was amazing. And that was a water birth, which I was the most amazing thing of my life. I will always have my kids in
Because
the
you
water.
didn't do that at the birth
I
center. That's
didn't.
right.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
as terrible as your first labor, or do you think the
No.
castor oil made it?
I think the castor oil made it worse. The water birth was insane. Like that was just the best thing. And I was just way more like in tune with my body. Like I was like feeling her head come out, and like I could feel that she was right there, and I was like way less scared of it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I think that
A
Yeah.
labor that
part.
starts when everything's ready is
Yeah.
so much different
Totally.
than
Yeah. It was amazing.
yeah.
It was redemptive.
Even though your water
Mhm.
broke,
Yeah.
like it was still,
Yeah.
I guess,
Your body had been through a lot. Like, I
augmented.
wonder
Mhm.
how much
Yeah.
that had to do with it.
Totally. Yeah. With the yeah, I like castor oil is definitely was a wild ride. But yeah, I didn't realize like how much trauma I actually held, even though my first birth was amazing, like,
Yeah.
and it was like unmedicated and it was everything I wanted. I didn't realize how much trauma I had like built up from that. So when I had Mercedes, it was like so redemptive.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then after I had Mercedes, I was like, I can have like 3,
Aw.
4 babies. You know what I mean? I was like,
Such a different
yeah,
response. Yeah.
totally. It was amazing. It was really cool. And
How
just
was your perineum with Mercedes?
I did not tear at all, which I think was due to like being in the warm water and
Yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
I had like a couple skid marks and stuff, but she was like, I don't think I need to suture these unless you want me to. And I was like, do I need them?
I'm
Does
so happy
anybody
for
vote
you.
that?
Yeah, it was really nice.
And I
What-
think it's a testament. Sorry, Ariel.
We get really
We
excited.
get really
excited. Yeah.
That like a good birth,
Yeah,
like it can even be a better birth. Like
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
your first wasn't terrible,
no, it was great. And all
Yeah, no
things and-
complaints.
but it
Yeah.
also like
Yeah.
left some trauma,
Yeah,
and that a good birth can do that.
yeah,
Mhm.
Birth is like
absolutely.
rocks your world.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy, like definitely with how fast everything went once I finally went into labor too.
That's what I was going to ask was
Yeah.
what was the time from the first contraction to 310?
So it was like 12. Well, the one that doubled me over was like 12:59. So like I think we
Okay, that's
yeah,
insane.
it was like
That's
1 o'clock to
precipitous.
3:10. Yeah, it was really fast. And Elise jokes with me now. She's like, when you have your next baby, I'm sleeping over. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna be with you from the second you have a first contraction. So,
Yeah.
That's always the worst feeling, like trying to get to a birth and they're like so close.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It was wild, and we like laugh about that to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question,
Talk to
and
me.
you don't have to answer it.
Okay.
Was there like FOMO having your mother-in-law next door and you're having a home birth, or was she like
No.
totally chill?
My mom was totally chill. Or my mother-in-law was like not. She doesn't. Yeah, she's like my mother-in-law. Like I said, is a wonderful woman, but
Mhm.
like she's not the like. There's women who are nurturers, and there's women who are gatherers, and there's women.
I mean,
who
she's
are,
a queen for
yeah.
a reason because
Yeah,
sounds like she's
exactly.
got like a tough exterior.
She's very tough. Yeah,
You can't
she's
be at all,
German and
so.
Scottish, so she's
Oh,
very.
that's where I come from, so
Oh,
I get
yes.
it.
Yeah, so she didn't have any FOMO. She was just excited to see the baby when
That's nice.
yeah, it was really good. It was and then Catalina came in like not much longer after when I was in bed and like that was, seeing your baby meet your baby was like
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's nothing better.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, it was insane. And she like kissed her on the head and stuff and
So sweet.
yeah, it was really special. Being at home is just like is such a different
Mhm.
experience. Like the birth center was absolutely fantastic. I loved everything. I could not say a single bad thing about it. But like just going from the tub to like my bed and then not moving
Yeah.
was
You
amazing.
can't
Yeah.
compare.
No,
Yeah.
you really can't.
Yeah.
And then like, she just sat in bed with us and I think she was watching like Finding Nemo and like we ordered pizza and we all ate pizza together and Mercedes was like being weighed and Jesse cut the cord and this birth I caught her actually because she came so fast, which was also really cool because
Yeah.
I didn't catch Catalina. So
Yeah.
again, I was just like way more in tune with
Mhm.
my birth and my labor and everything
Mhm.
than I was with Catalina. I felt very like almost like cut off from it
Yeah.
with Catalina because I was just like blacking out. Like,
Yeah.
And with Mercedes, I remember every single detail.
Mm.
So it was great.
Where'd you find Mercedes' name?
Jesse always had loved it. His favorite book is The Count of Monte Cristo. I don't know if you guys have ever read
Way
it.
over my head. Never heard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's like it's a love story about like vengeance, but also like realizing that you don't need it, and yeah. So that was the love interest name in that book. So he loves the name Mercedes. And when we had Catalina, we were actually planning on moving to Spain. So when we were naming our kids, we wanted them to be like bilingual, something that they would be able to pronounce there and here. Obviously, I'm not in Spain, so that didn't work out. But
Is it still on the agenda?
no, not right now. My husband had a soccer job over there. We had some visa issues, and yeah, that dream came to a screeching halt last January. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, we had our house on the market,
Oh
and
my
actually,
wow.
yeah, when I was in labor with Mercedes, we had contractors outside like tearing down like sides of the house and like rebuilding stuff. So all I heard was like hammering and nails.
Oh my
and,
gosh.
Very comforting.
Yes, very comforting.
I always love stories like that where I'm like, did they even know that like life was coming
I
into the
know.
world
know.
inside the house and they're just out there like
Yeah, just
you
out
know,
there.
another day.
They were
Another
a really
day.
good family friends,
Okay.
and so they knew that I was pregnant. But like, definitely, I was like not quiet. So like, I'm sure I was probably scaring them because
They're like,
I just found out my neighbor 2 doors down is like very pregnant, probably 9 months pregnant.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Oh, I just wanna go over there and be like, what can I do?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Do you wanna be on my podcast? Do you want a
How can I
doula?
help?
Do you want me to rub your feet?" You
You
know,
want me to wash your hair?
she doesn't even know who I am.
That's amazing.
But now I feel, like, responsible
Yeah.
because she's,
Yeah.
like, in my
In your zone.
I
zone.
love that.
So I'm like, "Are you having a home birth? Where's
Yeah.
your baby?"
You get so invested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh my gosh.
We had another lady that was pregnant a couple over the I don't know, like a couple of months ago. And she was walking every day in her pregnancy. And then just one day they had the
Not
baby in
walking
the
anymore.
stroller.
Oh,
And I was
yeah,
like
such
rolled
a
out my
cute-
window. I was like, "Oh my God." I probably looked like a psychopath, like stopping.
You're so
And I'm like, "I
invested.
watched
Yes.
your whole pregnancy and now your baby's here. And I'm
Yeah.
so happy for you."
She's
Yeah.
like, honey, we're never going down the street
Yeah.
again.
Right.
I think they
Who
were
is this?
touched. I don't know.
That's so funny.
I'm
That's
just
hilarious.
I had good
teasing you.
intentions.
I know. That's when you
Ugh.
work in the birth world, though. Like
It's
you
hard
just get
not
so
to- yeah.
invested and involved, and yeah, it's hard to like not.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, on that note, we're out of time now, but we didn't really get to touch on like you as a chiropractor that works with women in pregnancy. So if you could give any like final words on preparation
Yeah.
for the labor that you want, like what would your advice be?
Yeah, I think like staying active and mobile is like really important. Just like, but also getting adjusted in pregnancy is huge because if your pelvis is in optimal position, then baby's in optimal position. You have less pain. It's better for labor and delivery. Like, you want the whole complex to be, the whole birthing canal and everything to be in
Mhm.
optimal position. And so chiropractic helps that. Especially like being Webster certified, we check like the muscles and ligaments and everything around the uterus and stuff. So yeah, but also like there's a huge mental component that I think that a lot of people need to like sit in with.
Yeah.
And not just the physical component too.
Yeah.
Because I had everything lined up perfectly, but like for my first birth, I was, didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So yeah, just prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. That's what I would say.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all
so
it's
simple.
all important.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Simple, but not.
Exactly. Because you don't know until you go through it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You just have no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
So.
Totally.
And there has to be that newness to it. I think if you go in, you can't. There's no way.
Yeah.
We don't know how your body's going to respond and how your uterus functions and how this baby needs to be born.
Yeah.
It's so unique.
Every baby, like if there's one thing that I know for sure, it's that like baby has the innate ability to know when it's time, and your body has the innate ability to know when it's time. So like trust your body and trust your baby, because that's really the most important thing you can do.
Totally.
Surrender.
Yeah. Surrender is huge.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll
thanks
do a
for
little
having
cheers.
me.
Close it out.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us on Girly Pop Birth Talks, where we hold space for the messy and meaningful journey of becoming her.
If today's story moved you, made you laugh, or reminded you of your own strength, we would love it if you subscribed, shared the episode, and left us a quick review.
We're so glad you were here.
Seriously, you're one of us now.
We can't wait to do this again soon.